Welcome to Good Morning Football. We are live in New York City. It's Monday, April 12th. I'm Kim Jones alongside Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, and Sean O'Hara. Good morning, guys.
Hey, what's going on? How you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
Good. Peter, as a welcome gift to these two, I promise, in the opening segment of the show, I'm going to mention both Eli Manning and Derek Jeter.
There you go.
I know they're big fans. I promise I'm going to do it. Watch.
It's going to be harder to mention Jeter than Eli.
I'll
I
get
can't
there.
wait for that,
I'll
guys.
get there.
Well, we will get there.
Yes.
Because
Morning,
it's time now for
For the lead block of the program.
Absolutely. Well, with 2.5 weeks left until the draft, all signs are pointing to the Jets taking Zach Wilson with the number 2 pick. New York Giants legend and good friend to all of us, Victor Cruz, came on this show last week and gave the BYU quarterback some advice if he does happen to be playing in New York in 2021.
Yourself, man. Don't try to be anything out of character. Don't try to be anything that you're not. Just be yourself. This is what got you here. This is what got you to this moment, to this position, to have this opportunity to play the game you love. So just be yourself. Think before you speak. Always understand that your words have deeper ramifications. So think, if your mother wouldn't want you to hear you say certain things, you probably shouldn't say it. So those are just a few things that I learned coming up. And I think he'll be fine. I think he's got the moxie, he's got the temperament to be all the things that the Jets need him to be.
Well, Victor Cruz certainly knows what it's like to play in this city. Nothing's set in stone yet, guys, but what's your biggest question about Zach Wilson as we head into this draft, Kyle?
He seems physically like he's got it. He can chuck it, right? Impresses everybody. What's going on up here? This guy's a little chirpy, all right? And we're coming into New York City. This is what I'm talking about, and it's perfect with what Victor Cruz was just talking about. Did you see the quote he had during the season? He's talking about Aaron Rodgers, and he gets cute with it. Like, he takes a shot. This is Zach Wilson talking about Rodgers. As a player, I love how Rodgers plays. He's my guy. As far as his swag, the way he dresses, he doesn't have any. He has no swag. If you wear a cool helmet, get rid of that single bucket chin strap, shave a little bit, get rid of the baggy sleeves, he could have some cool swag going for him. All right, so I like that. It's cool. The guy's got a big personality. We already have some people at the table who are keeling over. Jets fans, there was a lot of the use of the term swag from a college kid taking a little playful shot at the MVP. Listen, we talk about Daniel Jones has almost nothing to say. It hasn't worked for him. Sam Darnold had nothing to say. It didn't work for him. But I sit at a table right now who are at the altar, people who are kneel at the altar of Eli Manning and Derek Jeter, who are in this town, never said squat, were the consummate leaders, were exactly what Victor Cruz was talking about. Robotic, passionate, all business leaders. I just wonder if the Zach Wilson thing, he's got some things to say. I'll also say this, we're at this point of the pre-draft thing. He's a really good-looking guy. He's kind of a dreamboat. I think the New York, he's cute. I mean, he looks like a boy bander. He really does. Incredibly, I think the New York media will run with that. And when you get that first quote about swag this or presence this, I don't know how that plays. And especially when it comes after a loss. He doesn't have the robotic thing that we have seen work in this town time after time, and I wonder if that will come back and bite him. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, the swag is real, and everyone you talk to about Zach Wilson is that, there's a little something there. There's some personality. He's not just a robot. He's not, and he will say things, and he will be the leader in your locker room. The comparison I got, whether positive or not, is there's a little Baker Mayfield to him, where it's like a Pied Piper type deal, where I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the strongest guy, I wasn't supposed to be this guy, but yet here I am. I'm the number 2 overall pick, and I'm also the starter at BYU and having one of the best statistical seasons anyone's ever had there. My concerns, personality aside, his durability, because this isn't just a clean prospect coming in. Zach Wilson got seriously injured with his shoulder in high school, put off surgery until 2019, got shoulder surgery on a torn labrum. Now look, if he was 6'6" and 240 and he was running like this, he might be 210. He's 6'2". He had a hand injury last year. He missed 4 games a couple years ago. This isn't your perfect, chiseled prospect. This isn't Josh Allen where, okay, I'll mold him from Wyoming because, look, I've got a 6'6", 240 guy. 6'2", I'll say 215. Now, if you really want to get into the scouting stuff, they're like, but he's got a big butt. And I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Okay.
He's got a big butt.
Maybe got back?
He's got a big butt. And
this guy's hot, I'm telling you.
This is what these scouts talk about. If you've got the backside, if you've got the body structure, Kim, I'm sorry to do that at 7 a.m. in the morning on a Monday, but if sometimes That's what they look for. Where, yeah, if we get him in the weight room, if we're able to, the bones are there. Like, we can build this thing. But I'm not saying he's fragile, and I'm not saying he's not a tough kid. It's just, this is not your perfect, clean, never been injured, can take any hit guy. He's had shoulder surgery. He's had a hand injury. He's not the biggest quarterback. I would be a little concerned about the durability. And if you're the Jets, they traded for him, or they traded away Darnold before all the medicals came back. They said they feel comfortable. I'll take them on their word for that, but I would have loved to have seen the medicals fully come back before making that trade.
Yeah, it's a great point, Schrags, especially when you look at Sam Darnold, how much time he had missed with the shoulder, with the mono, and with the other issues. I think physically that's going to be a big factor for him. And as a young quarterback coming in with basically an offense that's trying to create an identity, you've got a whole new scheme. No doubt he's going to take some lumps. But I think New York City is going to love a big booty bro. And I think,
big booty bro!
Look, if you're a quarterback in this draft right now, Jets fans are just drooling over you right now. So whether it's Zach Wilson that gets drafted, whether it's Trey Lance or Mac Jones, whoever it ends up being, I mean, it's looking like Zach, but like the Jets fans are going to, they're not going to hug you. They're going to make out with you. Like they are going to be in love with this pick. But
they tear you down
it's
right
funny
away,
because
Sean.
Like it's going to melt in a minute if you go out there and you fall on your face. So like my advice is, and we had Victor Cruz, it was great hearing him talk about it. He had no pressure. He was an undrafted kid.
Yeah.
And you know, the pressure of being the quarterback for a New York-based team is, okay, who am I working for? Am I trying to win over my teammates in the locker room and my organization and my team, or am I trying to get a billboard on Broadway or in Midtown? Obviously, you know, you point out that he looks like a boy band. So,
does.
I mean, is he going to have a billboard? And where is it? How soon does it go up?
Well, remember Sanchez had the GQ spread with the painted-on jeans and the jacket and everything.
No shirt
I don't know
on.
if that worked for him. I don't know.
And look, there's great locker room fodder for all that, but
Yeah.
the one thing that I think, you mentioned Eli Manning, the one thing Eli never did was he never oversaturated the market. And I think the one thing that Zach Wilson can do is say no. Say no to the big spread. Say no to the big-time commercial. Say no to all that stuff until you earn it. And I think that's where he's got to just know, look, I'm going to earn my stardom on the field for what I'm doing as a quarterback, not try to be a celebrity in New York City.
Well, and a couple of things. I mean, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Early on with Eli, he didn't have to be the leader right away.
Right.
Zach Wilson has to be the Jets leader right away. Who the heck else is going to do it? Right. And by the way, this has to be the first Good Morning Football show that before 7:05.
Go on.
We had references to Eli. I get that. We had references to Jeter. I certainly get that. And I'm going to get back to it.
Good.
And we had a veiled reference to Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. So
Thinly
we have already surpassed
Mike
ourselves.
Mayock would have loved his,
Oh, he
you know,
would
it
have
wasn't
loved
quite
it.
heavy-legged
Yes.
waist bender,
Yes.
but
Absolutely.
it was, you know, big in all the right places.
Here's one other thing, and I think we know this, but in a specific, that Derek Jeter gave the New York Yankees all those years. My first year at Yes was 2005. I was awful. I'd never done TV. It was a very challenging year. Derek was great to me. That part is just who he is and who I know him to be. They lost, if I'm not mistaken, in the divisional round of the playoffs to the Angels. And I went over to Derek's locker, of course, after the game, and I asked him about, obviously, the short exit, or the quick exit. And he said this season was a failure. That's the captain of the team. I then went to Posada, Jorge Posada, who is more fiery than Jeter, not the captain, but they were linked. They're BFFs. And I asked Jorge, I said, Derek said the season was a failure. What do you think? He said, I'm not going there. The point is, Derek solely in that clubhouse set that tone. I'm not exaggerating when I say Zach Wilson can't really be Daniel Jones. Daniel had Saquon. Daniel had some other pieces in place there, and now he has a very strong head coach, obviously, in Joe Judge. Zach Wilson is going to a program that's building, and he's going to be expected to be the captain of the